Who would you like to be locked in a room with for an hour out of that 5?
Ooh, read the names again.
So you got Liz Truss, Penny Mordaunt, Kemi, Sunak, Tujin Hart.
Do I have a camera?
I'm gonna get like countdown clock, and I'm gonna give you like 30 seconds.
I think Truss, because I'd want to grill the shit out of her about how she's so two-faced and like, what the hell are you playing at? We can see everything you're doing. You talked about the fact when you were pro-Remain, don't tell me it was your loyalty to David Cameron, because you talked about the opportunity of your daughters, and you wanted your daughters to grow up in a country where they could go and travel and work freely. Now, that wasn't bollocks. That was when you were used to talk some sense. So what the hell are you doing? Everyone can see through you. You're pathetic. And we've just learned that she basically sold out UK farming when she dropped our trousers for the Australian trade deal, just so she could go out and tell people, woohoo, we've got a trade deal.
So her loyalty is stronger to David Cameron than to her daughters. Okay.
Basically.
Oh, wow, brutal. I think we've got a good chance of seeing Scotland say adios. I don't know what the Scottish slang is for goodbye.
Fuck off, you shite.
Is actually a British industry, and it's a British invention.
Well, fantastic. We can't feed ourselves, we can't clothe ourselves, we can't put roofs over our heads, but we can build lava lamps. That's fantastic.
Always the
tomatoes are overrated.
Yeah, who needs tomatoes? We've got this level of red.
Well, now with the new Northern Ireland agreement, I'm into turnip smuggling. It's very profitable and very easy now.
Both of you support Scotland Scottish self-determination.
No, man, I'm all for the union.
So as you're a unionist, I'd like to hear some of the arguments for the union. So
I was a pro-unionist. I was a Tory pro-unionist.
Get off the channel.
That was how I was brought.
Yeah, how did you get on here? Is this... Wait, are we being like...
We're being trolled.
What's that program where they pretend to be something to wind you up?
This has been a prank in the making for years.
Are you related to Douglas Ross?
Yeah. No.
Marina, can you tell us what it was that suddenly spurred you into all of this?
Basically the same as you guys. It was you guys. It was all the corruption and dodginess, but it was triggered by 2016 Brexit referendum. I was pretty much like non-political. I couldn't have told you who the leader of. No, I probably could have told you that, but I really didn't know much about politics or anything about it until I started falling down the rabbit holes, because I couldn't quite understand how the hell we had ended up voting out, and all the lies and stuff that we were fed. And yeah, I just basically fell down rabbit hole after rabbit hole, and I am still falling.
It just goes on forever, isn't it? It's literally like a black hole.
So Brexit isn't done. Brexit isn't done. No.
Depends who you talk to. It depends on the day of the week.
How's Brexit going? So, Davey, over to you. What do you think so far?
Well, I read a news article first thing this morning that said that the economy shrunk 14% in 2021. So pretty much exactly as we expected. And as they do with the election results, the Tories have been telling us about why that's a good thing. And we don't need a good economy. Quite literally. It's insane. I've never seen anything like it. When it comes to how Brexit's actually going, the queues are getting longer, the goods are getting more expensive, the businesses are getting shut down, the country's being absolutely hauled backwards over the coals by its own decision, and you can't move a square inch for being told, no, it's a good thing, really. No, I you know what, right, my Auntie Vera, she runs an import-export firm, and it's just been shut down, but she once forgot to buy me a birthday present, so it's actually a really good thing that Brexit's going like a fucking horse that's been electrocuted.
Well, while you're talking a really, very serious topic, what does get noticed in the chat is that we've all got beards and we've all got hats except Alex. So Alex needs a hat. I thought I'd just point that out. It's quite important.
I think you're absolutely right. I mean, he did offer to wear a baseball cap, which might. Oh, there we are. It's a beanie.
Well, we've all gone for something very different.
We have.
A fedora.
I want Tim's hat. I do.
Oh, my hat is from Israel. I've got another one from Georgia, which
wow.
I'm very proud of.
I'm gonna have to get myself one of them.
Yeah,
well, cool.
Wonderful.
And Max has a pirate hat. Cool guys for something slightly different, albeit all with beards.
I don't
have clipped mine.
I don't know where the beard came from in my case. You know, it's just it's always been there. Like
it's a good look. Do you ever get asked to play Santa?
Yeah, well, I played Santa. I played Santa in Greece once.
Really?
And all these Greek children came up to me and asked for presents, and I thought I was very good, and I heard one of them running off back to her mother and saying, "Mummy, why does Santa have such a strange accent?" And she very wisely said, "Well, because he's from the North Pole." I thought it was very clever.
Well, you sound like a perfect Santa.
He's a pro. He's a pro.
I kind of agree with Gemma. It's quite hard to know what Sunak is. And in my personal opinion, I think he's just a greedy, vacuous airhead who wants the job of Prime Minister and has no real insight into how to run the country apart a few soundbites. I mean, the speech he gave about the Northern Ireland Agreement, espousing how wonderful being part of the EU was.
About Northern Ireland, that is the prize that is on offer. Because if we get this right, if we get this framework implemented, if we get the executive back up and running here, Northern Ireland is in the unbelievably special position, unique position in the entire world, European continent, in having privileged access, not just to the UK home market, which is enormous, 5th biggest in the world, but also the European Union single market. Nobody else has that. No one. Only you guys, only here. And that is the prize. I can tell you, when I go around the world and talk to businesses, they know that. They're like, that's interesting. If you guys get this sorted, then we want to invest in Northern Ireland, because nowhere else does that exist. That's like the world's most exciting economic zone. And one of the things that is top of Secretary of State's in tray, once we get an executive up and running here, is to work with companies not just in the UK but around the world to figure out how do we get them to come and invest in new things to take advantage of Northern Ireland's very special position. And they are queuing up to do so, particularly from the US, actually. They keep talking to us, say, when are you going to get this thing sorted? Because we've got all these ideas. We've got investment that we want to bring, just like Miles is doing with Coca-Cola. That's what we need more of, and that is the prize, and that is the potential that we're going to realise.
I mean, my jaws that you just come up off the floor from that.
Yeah, the Windsor framework.
Yeah, so he has the intelligence enough to do all the manipulating and to, he obviously appears, okay, he's obviously easier to negotiate with. He's not sort of outwardly rude to the EU, and he can bring old King Charles in, give it a bit of kudos. So all of that stuff is quite clever politicking. But then you're right, then he stands there talking like he's on CBeebies. He's going, hey guys, we've got this great deal and it's really special. And you just think, what are you talking about?
He's like an arsonist talking about fire safety. It's like this whole thing of and the way he presents it, like a middle manager who's given a job for the day to motivate the sales team or something like that.
Femi, please, how did you get into all of this?
So I was working in Brussels in 2014-15-ish, and I was working for an NGO that focused on the human rights abuses in the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain. I was working alongside British members of the European Parliament, pushing back against the policies of the UK to sell weapons to Saudi Arabia, which were being used to bomb hospitals and schools in Yemen, training Bahraini police who would then arrest and torture human rights defenders. And so I was already involved in what I thought was a battle for the soul of the UK. Are we the good guys or not? In 2015-16, and that's before I'd heard of the word Brexit. So when I saw the word Brexit start to come onto the stage, I thought, wait, hang on, could things actually get worse? And I looked at the conversation that was happening over Brexit with Nigel Farage types telling people that the EU is a dictatorship. Meanwhile, I'm there in Brussels working alongside the directly elected members of the European Parliament. It's pretty easy to see that something was going wrong, and neither Cameron or Corbyn was able to counter the narrative. So I just started making little videos, and it just sort of snowballed from there.
And I hope one day one of us will get onto the screen, along with Marina, who's been on the show, and just give them the riot act, because they talk bollocks and they create a culture war and they blame us for their failings.
Interview with Marina Perkins. One thing for certain, I said to my wife showed me it, and because I remember seeing a tweet saying that I'm thinking of going, and my first thought was, what's the point? He'll just view you as a pleb, and he won't take any interest. You won't gain anything out of it. And boy, were I wrong. She just absolutely mullered him. But I said to my wife, and my kids look at him in fascination, as if to say, why do people listen to him? What's the fascination? I said, well, firstly, I said, if I said the same exactly, Max, exactly.
Now you listen to me. Now you shut up and listen to what I have to say.
Exactly.
Is that your best English accent, Max?
Yes, but yeah, I said, but I said, if I'd have said the same things in my broad Bradfordian accent, they would cart me off to the funny farm. If I said the same things he said.
You know what it's like? It's like lordships. You do a sex crime, you get a lordship. It's like a hand-in-hand deal. It's like fucking buy one, get one free from McDonald's for these people.
To be a Tory nowadays, you have to be a sex offender.
I genuinely think that there is a class at Eton that's like, how to sexually offend appropriately with politics. Like, taught by some kind of like wizened old man with his fly half undone, like, now boys and other boys all young and delicious looking. It's like, that's the kind of shit. Yeah.
It's a hologram of Savile. They reanimate him and they give him the lessons on how to teach people to be inappropriate sexually in the Tory party.
I'd love to see
Prince Andrew quite a bit.
I'd just love to see Jacob Rees-Mogg's internet history, but he probably doesn't even have a computer.
Are you joking? I don't think he even knows. I don't think he even knows what the internet is.
He's a ghost, so he can't.
There's a web. Oh, let me go get my maid. She'll dust it for you.
Nanny.
I think the corruption was already there. Russians haven't been messing around since Boris. They've been messing around for at least 12 years. I could literally walk you through how you could set it up, so you could funnel money through, and you'd never get caught. It's, go through the Cayman Islands or Antigua. You can set up a company and a bank there. You set up a company in the UK. The company in Antigua buy the company, and the bank that you set up filters all the money through, and you use that money from your bank to then loan it to yourself and it's totally laundered and clear. Yeah, and take notes. David, who's your Scot on your banknote?
Me.
Dave would be my second choice then. Why not?
As a non-Scot, okay. I was going to go with that great Scottish hero Mel Gibson.
Me doing a sort of blind date, and of course, nothing is quite a blind date in television land. A blind date with Anne Widdecombe, and I was terribly looking forward to that, but it never happened, sadly. Maybe she cried off. Maybe
as long as you haven't got to do the lift.
What blew my mind was how Jacob Rees-Mogg and Nadine Dorries stood in front of Number 10 and said how Liz Truss is a harder Brexiteer than either of us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry, is a harder Brexiteer.
Or a truer Brexiteer. I don't remember the exact term.
It was. I can't remember because I remember the audio was difficult, but it was either as hard a Brexiteer as either of us, or a harder Brexiteer as either.
Very aware that she's probably a stronger Brexiteer than both of us.
Liz Truss is as loyal as her options. She will stay loyal to whoever pays her the most money.
I would have liked to have had subtitles underneath Mogg and Dorries as they said that, which basically read something along the lines of, we're so hated by the public, we would never be able to run for Prime Minister. That's literally what they were saying when they said that.
To rejoin, then you should be supporting a referendum to rejoin, no? Because it's more democracy. Like, what's the best way to deal with democracy is more democracy. So I find it really strange how Nigel Farage and others are now saying, well, look, it seems the majority of people want to rejoin the EU, then let's have a campaign because we love democracy so much. No, they're like, no, we had a vote. That's it. It's finished.
Like as he said on the night, if the result is 52-48, I would view that as unfinished business, i.e. if he'd have lost. Do you think he'd have walked off into the sunset? Well, the majority have spoken. It's the will of the people, and I'm going to go quietly into the night and get my Sean G. Beebies.
I'd like to see him walk off a plank.
Yeah, I would do it all.
That's what I'd like to see him.
Nigel, fog on of ignorance. Yeah.
had to control yourself there, didn't you? Know?
yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I did.
Scare me as a politician. That laughter and that kind of glee that she got from, she could see that she was not intimidating, but she could see that she was, ruining someone's moment. This was their, resignation after a great career. She could see that she was pushing them down, and that smile of duper's delight is narcissists truly gain energy from that. They gain, while other people would feel drained from it, she was
energized by suffering.
Yeah, but don't forget the plane. She was, it was her dream to see people deported.
I'm stress laughing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm stress laughing. Yeah, that was exactly. Like that is duper's delight. If I forgot about that. Like if you ever hear her, like
she almost makes Roald Dahl characters seem quite reasonable. I mean, let's face it. I mean, she gets called out by a Holocaust survivor and she survives. She loses 100. Imagine if any one of us in an education position had lost one child and we turned around to the parents and went, "What do you expect us to do? Have them handcuffed to us?"
Yeah, like I'm an assistant dean at one of the colleges. These are all overage. Like these are all of age. Could you imagine if there was one student lost and they rang up the college? Oh God, they're of age. What are we to do?
So on that cheerful note, we're out.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Tune in next week for another exciting story from the files of Police Squad.